Pickup of 22 and the opening play of the game for Pine Creek. A nice way to start off the season. First snap from scrimmage. And there's Beecham, 1,200-yard rusher of the season ago, and he's off to the races. Ogwin was the only man to have a chance at Pine Creek. 2 plays, 6 points. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to ISPN.TV. Along with Marty Cesario, I'm Brian Roth, where each and every Monday we bring you our new Xfinity Sports Top 10s, both Class 4A and Class 5A football. So let's get right to the Top 10s. And we begin in Class 5A. And Marty, right there at the top, Mullen, certainly no surprise there. Mullen knocking off Chaparral 27-0. And the Mustangs off on the right foot, but you look at the rest of the top 10, there are a little bit of a change up there. And that top 5 is Regis drops to 3, Pomona up to 2, and Grand Junction makes the leap into the top 5.
Obviously, Grand Junction, Coach Robbie Owens, and, everybody talks about the quarterback, Rubel Cabra. They went into Highlands Ranch, made the 4-hour drive, and, considering the weather situation where all kinds of lightning delays, I think they finished up at midnight. All those things considered, Junction's got people just still talking about them. They certainly deserve to make a couple of clicks up on our top 10.
Highlands Ranch, they gave up the 51. They scored 35 themselves. And as we continue to look at the top 10, you see Highlands Ranch does not drop out of our top 10. But, you look at Pomona there. They hammered Cherry Creek. And, Regis loses to Valor. We drop them 1 spot. More so because we were so impressed by Pomona.
Yeah, I think so. Cherry Creek's going to be a pretty decent squad. Well, all of a sudden, that Game 1 season opener for Jay Madden's squad, Alec Phelan, Dylan Carter on the offense, Keegan Pratt and all those linebackers, they pasted Cherry Creek, so they deserve a chance to get that recognition here on our top 10s.
Yep, and again, as you take one final look at that 5A top 10, you see Chaparral dropping all the way down to 9. They get shut out. But it did come against Mullen, who runs their win streak to 34. And then, of course, Grandview was idle last week. They stay at number 10. They still sit at 0-1. They're going to get Mullen coming up here this weekend. On to Class 4A, there's the top 10. Valor Christian remains at the top. And a bit of a change in the top 5. We have moved Pine Creek to number 5. Marty, we saw them earlier this week against Pueblo South, and they just dismantled the Colts. There's 31 seniors on that football team for head coach Todd Miller. Pine Creek could very well be the second best team in Class 4A. Of course, when you talk 4A, you have to put Valor Christian and then everybody else. That's kind of how you have to slot everybody. But Pine Creek is right there along with Wheat Ridge when you talk about teams that are talented and have big senior classes. And Marty, speaking of Wheat Ridge, you had a chance to see them. They beat Ponderosa 23-7, another one of those teams that is a top 10 type caliber team at 4A. Your thoughts on the Farmers?
Well, I'm like you. The Ponderosa Mustangs, I saw some excellent things. Their quarterback, Taylor Johnson, at some point in this year, we're going to see Ponderosa in this top 10. Just not right now. What they ran into is a very well-prepared squad that has a chip on the shoulder. I want to avoid last year's championship game. There were some references about, hey, you still got a bad taste after what happened against Valor. Well, they validated and said, yeah, we got a bad taste in our mouths. So that's part of why they came out so strong. And then the preparation, Reed Call had them clicking. First 2 possessions defensively, 3 and out. First 2 possessions offensively, just annihilating people and running down the field. Nick Swanson stepping in and taking over because they lost a big guy in Amos White. And Nick Swanson just steps into that position with 3 backs in the backfield there, but Swanson stepping in there. They were just amazing in terms of execution. Very solid club for the Farmers.
Yeah, so Wheat Ridge stays put at number 2. And again, a little bit of movement down at the bottom end of the top 10 as a couple of top 10 teams in our poll last week hooked up Pueblo West and Dakota Ridge. Season opener for each of those 2 teams. The Cyclones get a little revenge after losing at Jeffco Stadium last year. They get the win on their home field 14-7. So you see Pueblo West up to 8. Kept Dakota Ridge in there at number 9. And then the newcomer, as Prairie View, they drop out. The only team to drop out here this week as they lost 6-0 to Frederick. Marty, the newcomer, Castleview, is up there. And I know they feel like they have a nice squad here this year.
Well, there's a little bit of buzz going around in summer camps. A few coaches mentioning them down in Douglas County and Castle Rock area. The SaberCats, Coach Hollingshead have a nice offensive line. Big guys, and they're very skilled technically and very talented. I always like line play and defense when I start thinking ahead to what's going to go down in November and December. So they get a shot. They're in the top 10. Keep it, guys.
All right, there's our 4A and 5A top 10s. As well, here we go. We are now fully into the 2011 high school season. We'll be back on Monday afternoon for another edition of our top 10s. Pickup of 31. Kuzar out of the backfield to the pylon. Touchdown.